grandmother said, I want you to pray. So I got down on my knees, and this is what I said. I want to be strong like Samson, built like Hercules, and have a lot of money. And everything that I asked for in that prayer, God gave to me. I blew it later, but still, he gave to me.
Do you think that you suffered?
Welcome, everybody. It's another exciting edition of The Sports Hole. I'm your host. With me, as always, XFL Jim, Rock and Roll, Matty Goldberg, NBA playoffs. We got the NFL draft.
They were playing that episode of Dark Side at the bar Saturday night that I went to.
That's funny. Shut the fuck up and pay attention.
Yeah, I did. It was big screen. It's a dancing bar. They have like a whole dance floor, and on the screen where they usually play sports and shit, they had Dark Side of the Ring on. It was awesome.
Nice. Cut the music. Let Mr. Tony Atlas speak. All right. Going to be covering Tony Atlas's Dark Side of the Ring a little bit later on in the show. Kind of your standard one, but turns a little heartwarming too.
Yeah.
So.
It was I thought this was like overall. It made me.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Guy's still alive. Anytime a guy's still alive.
That's 100%.
I guess that's a
100%,
victory
Matty.
in these shows. He's living. And Diamond Dallas Page didn't rescue him this time.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, what's going on? How was your week?
Pretty good. A lot of sports watching. You know, YouTube carried like some WrestleMania stuff. I haven't watched wrestling in a while, but God, was I disappointed in what I saw.
Wait, it did? Like just the regular YouTube website?
Preview, like the preview.
Peacock was showing the
okay.
replay.
Well,
Yeah.
Peacock, I think you could have watched the whole thing.
Okay, I didn't
Live?
watch it, but
Yeah, so like the WWE, like however many years ago, they partnered with Peacock. So like all the pay-per-view events, if you have Peacock, I think you can watch.
I watched
Really?
the
Even
Gunther.
WrestleMania?
There was a guy.
I
Gunther.
think so.
Oh.
I watched what's the early year one? Royal Rumble. That's what I watched.
Yeah, Royal Rumbles were great.
But
You got to watch the 1991 Royal Rumbles, the greatest thing of all time.
I did hear some people were a little disappointed with some things this year. I heard some parts of it were really good, other parts of it were bad. So, Maddie, you can tell me if I'm off base, if you saw any of it.
I didn't per se watch the action, but I'm more of like a story guy. And I saw, like, I don't know any of the guys. So I watched a little of this Gunther guy versus a guy named Jay something.
Jay Uso, I believe.
Jay Uso. So I watched them.
Part of Roman Reigns' crew.
And I was just like, I don't know, man. I'm not going to say nothing.
Jay Uso, I don't know, man. He's not a good wrestler. Like, people like cheer for him.
It's not.
He
your
is not a
generation.
good wrestler.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to be too tough because it's not my generation. So I don't know. But I just couldn't connect with it. It just, you know what it felt like? It felt like with the crowd and the wrestlers, it almost seemed like I was watching like what's that show on NBC about, like, they always take like real life stuff, NY.
Ripped from the headlines? What, like
Yeah,
SVU?
what's that show? Yeah. Is that what Law and Order? It was
okay.
Special Victims Unit?
Yeah, it was this. They were doing a Law and Order episode about wrestling, and they had like fake wrestlers, and they were supposed to act the way they're supposed to act, and the crowd is supposed to act the way it's supposed to act. I just found it very uninspiring, very uninteresting, very vanilla, very, I don't know.
So what I've heard from like modern day wrestling fans, from a couple that I know, is opening day was for the most part weak.
Yeah.
And then is it 2 nights? Is WrestleMania like a 2-night deal?
Yeah,
now?
it's 2 nights now.
So
It
like
is?
night 2,
Oh,
yeah, now it is. It's like they kind of turned it into like a whole convention.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it is.
Weekend.
They have a 5-day convention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, by the way, this was the highest grossing WrestleMania in history.
John Cena, baby, gets the.
Well, is that like because of money the way it is, or is it because like Jaws is the highest grossing movie pound for pound?
Oh, with it, like if you take inflation into account.
Exactly.
Now, I think Passion of the Christ is like, I don't know. But
But
anyways,
I heard people were disappointed that like the way John Cena beat Cody Rhodes is like Travis Scott comes out and kind of like paralyzes and
But they're
surprises
bringing
Cody
in
Rhodes.
celebrities that
Yeah, they're
can't
bringing in
wrestle.
like rappers that like I feel like
so
wrestling
man,
fans
Travis
don't.
Scott was
Yeah.
busy. He was doing
Yeah.
Coachella this weekend too.
Yes.
Yeah,
WrestleMania and
Also,
Coachella in the same
yeah.
weekend.
that's actually kind
I,
of nuts.
I
It
also
is.
watched the Hall of Fame speeches, and they were pretty bad
Who
too.
made the Hall of Fame this year?
Triple H, which is deserving, but he's still like an inside job.
Right.
Lex Luger, Kamala,
Oh,
the
really?
tugboat and typhoon. So
Tug,
earthquake.
are you fucking? They'll put anybody in that,
Yeah, they're really running out of people.
right?
I feel
Next,
like you don't need to put someone in the Hall of Fame every year.
Tugboat.
no, you really don't.
Oh
I feel
God,
like
I
this
love
way
all
was-
those tugboat matches.
I feel that way with so many sports and things too. You don't need to
Sure.
put someone in the Hall of Fame every year.
Yeah,
I'll stand by that. I don't
It's
think
just-
every
I
year.
agree.
You
I
do.
guess it's just something to do during the fan con shit. But what was that tugboat character he's playing in WCW, like the Electrifier or something?
yeah, the guy with the thing.
Yeah, with the helmet. That was one of the worst
Yeah,
characters.
somebody made a funny meme where it was a picture of that and it said Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
But
right?
yeah, I was not inspired to say the least. But it's not my generation, so I shouldn't speak.
Yeah, it is. I don't know how they're measuring. Obviously, if you're having a multi-day event and fan expos, that there's going to be other revenue streams for it. So I don't know exactly how they're measuring it compared to the old pay-per-view events and the old you just filled up the frickin' Silverdome.
It also
event.
seems like the crowd, they pop when it's almost like they're told when to pop, as opposed to like the crowd might used to be a lot more cynical, like the ECW crowd, like you had to earn it from those guys. Now it's just like, hey, this guy's the top guy. You sing to his song and you yell his catchphrase. But it just comes off like, I don't know. It's just, I'm not gonna. I'm
Do you
saying
think maybe
stuff,
some of the
but I'm
noise is
not.
being pumped in a little?
No, I think Maddie, they just have like trained the audience to know when they want them to pop.
It's like they want to have the Stone Cold Steve Austin DX kind of feel, and they're not up to that, but people still want that feeling. They want that feeling when you hear the Austin music to go crazy.
There's
And
like,
you're going crazy for Jay Uso. Are you fucking kidding me?
and I'm not like I don't follow it super. There's a couple guys that I do like. Like I actually like Mysterio. I like Rey
Yeah.
Mysterio's kid.
Sure.
He's fun. He's like an asshole. He plays a great character. I like Cody Rhodes too. I did like Cody Rhodes.
Well, I don't know. And then there's a lot of sports. So there's also I gotta say my Pat McAfee hate keeps getting higher.
Oh, good.
What was it this time?
He's the only guy out there defending Nico.
Oh,
That checks out.
Like he's like, we saw what he could do against Ohio State. That cat was a baller in that game.
What?
And you're like 10 for 20, like 100 yards, 6 points or whatever. Are you
That was
kidding?
one of his worst games.
He goes, did you see his helmet crack? We saw what kind of dog he is. I'm like, he stinks. What are you talking about? And then he goes, he's going to make a lot of people eat dirt next year. He's going to make a lot of people eat crow next year. Like, are you watching the same guy on a worse team than last year?
No, I bet he gets injured this year because his line is so bad.
What
And
is
he's
Pat
tasked to
McAfee
do
smoking?
everything. He's gonna be like Shadur Sanders. Like,
How did Pat McAfee get, besides him making his own hype, this guy is the worst.
That's how he did it, Matty.
oh, but he's so refreshing though, man.
I've never seen a guy with worse
get out
takes
there
than him.
spitting the truth.
It's
wearing
well, he slow
shorts.
dripped it. He slow dripped it, built up like his cult like fan base
Yeah.
over being like the not ESPN sports guy, and now that's what everyone is. And now
Yeah.
he's just bland.
Listen,
Well,
man.
like, when
He's
you're
I have my
telling
own
people-
fucking
not everybody
bone
can
to
handle
pick.
that kind of
People that
edge.
Nico-
You know,
that
I know you
Nico
like more of
showed
the
he was
clean
a
cut,
great player.
straightforward Skip Bayless type. So a lot of people can't handle what McAfee's putting out there.
I have my own fucking bone to pick. The Rock went on McAfee for like 45 minutes or an hour or whatever. Didn't even bring up the UFL once. bum ass bitch.
Really?
It feels
What were
like
they
he's not even
talking
involved.
about? Jumanji?
Probably movies and WrestleMania and shit like that.
The Tooth Fairy?
Yeah, I hope the Tooth Fairy. Jumanji 3.
Was that him or that might have been Vin
No,
Diesel?
I
Was that
think
him
the
or Vin
Tooth
Diesel?
Fairy was him. The
Okay.
pacifier was Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah, those were around the same
I don't
time.
know, man. When you tell people like Nico balled out or like show what a great player he was versus Ohio State when he brought nothing to the table and put that team in trouble when everybody knows how bad he fucked up. I don't understand how you could go the other way. I just don't get it.
I do think Nico offers a very high ceiling for UCLA.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a
But
no. I mean, it's a
It's
win.
a low risk, high reward.
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
lose their I kind of liked the quarterback they had brought in. They brought in
I
the guy
bet
from
you
App
he's
State.
better. I bet you he's better.
What, the guy that now
He's now in
left?
Tennessee.
What?
Yeah.
Did he
They
go to
traded him.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
They just did a switcheroo.
Yep.
The old switcheroo.
Mm-hmm. Isn't
I
that
didn't know
wild?
that.
It's like
That's
they traded him.
hilarious. Oh, that'd be
Joey
bad
Wilson.
if he started balling out for
That is hilarious.
Tennessee.
He was pretty good on App State.
Yeah.
Well, App
Well,
State's
the
good
thing is for
program.
Tennessee, I feel like you could fit the way that Heupel does his offense is you can fit a lot of quarterbacks back there and they'll put up good numbers. Like you saw it with Baylor forever with Bryles.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like it kind of fits. Like the floor is pretty high with that offense.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I hope I just can't get over McAfee. I just can't. Like I don't know how, when everybody's got one take that's pretty obvious, that's pretty cut and dry, and he sees things that obviously we don't see. Like we all should have been so impressed because Nico had a helmet cracked against Ohio State when he did nothing, and that makes him a dog. He's a dog. His helmet was cracked.
You
Yeah,
think
he also
McAfee
threw
just
for 80
is
yards.
intentionally contrarian, so people like you and I will talk about him?
I just don't think he wants to ever like
Do you think
offend
he's
anybody
contrived? Do you think that part of him is contrived?
beyond.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw him go after Gunther. He can go after wrestlers he's supposed to go after, but not football players.
Yeah.
No, he kind of he'll want to interview Nico someday, so
It's funny
can't
because
go
he's
after
like
him.
half
So
of
stupid.
ESPN now.
I know
too.
it's so fucking.
So they
Yeah.
can't get rid of him at all, even if
No.
they want. I mean, I don't know. But it's funny because what he is, he's actually just no different than any of their commentators. You just say a bunch of loud shit, like you know what you're talking about, and be contrarian too to
Yeah.
get some more social media views. Like, what the fuck you talking about? I mean, that's it. That's the formula. Just be loud and act certain about what you're talking about.
Loud is the way to do it. The
And
louder
that's
you
it.
are, the better.
That's it. These guys don't know what they're talking about with Nico. This guy's a dog. Like, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. We should all just start yelling over each other. One of us will pop.
Ooh,
Promise.
Well,
we gotta find the right take for it.
Yeah.
basketball's been good. NBA, NHL, the NHL.
Maddie, have you? Well, I don't know. Let's do an NHL report in a little bit.
Well, last night was crazy. There was like, Jim, you should have these games on in the background. Like last night, we had two crazy games. The Kings are up 4-0. It's 5-1, then 5-3. Then the Oilers tied up at 5-5 with a minute to go, and then the Kings score. So they won 6-5, and then we had an overtime game. Nothing's like watching an overtime hockey
Oh,
late
so
at night,
good.
stoned, just hoping the game goes on forever. I'm like, I can just watch this for all night. I don't want this to end. And that's when,
by the way, we're a week late, but shout out to Western Michigan Broncos for winning the national championship in hockey.
Yeah, baby.
yeah, Western
Overtaking
Michigan.
Boston.
Way to go.
I feel like everyone likes to, especially this time when they're both starting up, people compare the NHL and NBA playoffs. I feel like
Yeah.
early on, it's not even a competition. The Stanley Cup playoffs blow it out of the water.
One of the best things I've ever seen in person, and It's still good on TV, but hockey suffers the most from the translation from live event to
It's
TV.
so good
It's
live.
still exciting though on TV. It's just NBA
Yeah.
playoffs don't get really good until like this, at
Next
least
round,
a
I think
couple
next round.
rounds in.
They've
I
been
think
good. They've just been low scoring. There've been a lot of unders.
Yeah,
I feel like there's been a couple blowouts though too.
I think the Lakers are in trouble. I didn't expect a lot of them this year, but finishing as a 3 seed, you expect them to maybe get to the Western Conference Finals, but they just don't play any defense, and defense wins championships, as they say.
It is wild, like how close the West is. Besides Memphis, which is an A seed, every team is pretty close. You know,
Shout out the Clippers for kind of coming alive.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like addition by subtraction. You get rid of like Paul George, James Harden's looking like, you know, a somewhat of like James Harden of the past. Still can hoop. I didn't even know he could still hoop like that, but Harden looked good. OKC's just rolling through
yeah,
Memphis
they
right
look
now.
like the best team right now.
The Pistons, who won 14 games all of last year
They
and
look
had held
great.
the record for the most consecutive playoff losses at 15, snapped that streak last night.
Yeah, they look
Uh,
great.
and they looked like they were going to fold at the end. They had good control. They had control of the game, and it was kind of slipping away. Knicks came all the way back, tied it up at the end, and the Pistons held their ground and ended up winning by like 6 last night. Cade Cunningham is a true star in the NBA. And it's just really amazing that turnaround. They're the only team to ever triple the amount of wins in a season after the season. So
God
there you
damn.
go, dropping facts. Do you guys have any early predictions for the your
Probably
picks?
Oklahoma City versus Boston or Cleveland. OKC looks really good. We'll see when they
Yeah.
play some tougher teams, but God, they are a machine. Like they got so many players, great defense.
I don't know how
I
the seedings are matching up, but the Warriors are back, and they're the real deal with Jimmy Butler again.
Yeah.
And
I do worry about depth for them.
true, yeah.
So like I don't know how long they'll be able to sustain this in the playoffs.
Yeah,
But they look that game
they're
one.
looking
Oh,
good.
it
I
was
mean,
good.
Curry ain't slowing down. Butler is just a wrecking ball in the playoffs.
Mhm.
I think whoever plays them is going to be in a lot of trouble. I think Boston again is still looking like, with their depth is insane, and everybody plays defense and hits 3-pointers. So I don't foresee anybody knocking them off this year.
I could easily see Boston.
Well,
repeating.
Cavaliers, I'll see. I mean, they're still young, but we'll see what they can do. But Boston, until somebody beats Boston, I'm not picking against
I kind
them.
of hope it's Thunder Celtics. That'd be awesome.
It would be fun. I don't know if the Thunder's quite there yet, but we'll see.
I also just kind of hope the Nuggets go just because I love watching Jokic play.
I do too.
He's just so fun to watch.
It's a shame that
I
team just
wouldn't be surprised
never.
if the Clippers win.
I wouldn't
think the
either.
Clippers
I
are
wouldn't
gonna
either.
win that series. You gotta understand they got a coach that's coached like 4 games. That's foolish to fire your coach. And when what's face plays, they're great. You just don't know when he's gonna decide to quit. The guy in the Clippers is always hurt. It's amazing.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked.
They might be up 3-1. He might just go, I'm hurt, and then
Yeah. Oh, my
3 games.
hammy. Moon's over my hammy. Yeah, it was weird watching them the other day. I'm like, oh, this is the team everybody thought they were going to be, except it's Harden instead of Paul George. But this is kind of what it was supposed to look like with it, when they were healthy. And it's very strange, to be honest,
Mhm.
to see that happening. I'd totally I had written them off completely. What else we got going on? Did you see Anthony Edwards? He got fined for saying my dick is bigger than yours to the LA crowd.
I love it.
Is that true?
Probably. There's a lot of
Probably.
micro penises in LA. A lot of small penises in LA.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people. That makes sense. There'd be a
Not
lot of
you though,
micro
Maddie.
penises.
I'm
Maddie's
probably like
walking around with a fucking Coke bottle.
I screw up the logic there. I screw up the algorithm.
I know you're like looking down as you're saying that, Maddie. Like,
Yep.
that reminds me, my one of my buddies used to watch this. He used to go to this porn site called Hey Little Dick,
That's pretty good.
and it was just like he just goes like, "Go Little Dick, go!" while he's like
Whoa.
fucking someone. This guy with a micro penis.
That's awesome.
Maddie, do you think your dick is bigger than Anthony Edwards?
I have no idea, but I like the trash talking.
I think at
Yeah.
the very least, proportionally, yes.
I mean, I'm sure they said a lot worse to him than that, and nobody gets in trouble, you know.
Oh
And I
yeah.
know as an athlete, you gotta behave yourself a little more, but it's the playoffs, and they're probably saying all types of crazy stuff to him. So sometimes you gotta say what you gotta say. And a dick or balls can be a metaphor. Like you shoot like Steph Curry because he shoots outside, he got balls, you know? So
Right.
there's that, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So he might mean it like metaphorically, like, hey, like I'm shooting like these crazy shots, which I got balls, you know, but whatever.
So yeah, do you think he's just going to tell the Adam Silver like, "Look, that was a metaphor, motherfucker. Didn't mean it seriously. Come on."
Yeah, you can't take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, this is being refuted, but I'd like to believe it's true that Kadarius Toney has retired from the NFL to become a rapper.
Nobody's done this. Nobody like they either go into boxing or rapping, and I've yet to see one athlete make it in either boxing or rapping.
What if he
Never.
fought Logan Paul while rapping?
Nah, I don't really. You know, like I don't know. I would imagine like he'll get another chance next year in a camp somewhere. He'll have some big preseason numbers and he'll get cut the last week and then maybe get picked up on somebody's practice squad for the next few years. But usually like people want to reinvent themselves. He's young. He's probably like what, 26,
26,
27.
yeah.
So it's scary to think that at 26, nobody wants you, but it's kind of his own doing. He's gotten in trouble off the field and he's underachieved majorly, on the field. So, but he has talent and somebody will take a shot on him the next few years. And, but like, I've never seen a guy like how many guys, Antonio Brown, I think, what's his face, the running back for Pittsburgh. You said Shaq was trying to be, but Shaq, was still a big star when he tried to be a rapper. So that's a little different. But guys who have basically retired and gone to hip hop or whatever, none of them have ever succeeded
Yeah.
or boxed.
And I mean, there were people that during their career, Allen Iverson, Kobe
Yeah.
Bryant had rap albums. Allen Iverson, they couldn't release it because he was saying some homophobic remarks apparently
Yeah.
in his. But
Well, he's
yeah,
from Philly. He played
I
in
will
Philly,
give
so.
Shaq actually had an album that I know people bought it. Shaq Fu.
Yeah.
I
You know what?
forget what was that one and then he rapped on other people's stuff too. I mean,
And now he's a DJ.
and then he actually rapped on Guns N' Roses album.
That's funny.
Yeah, he was in the studio, and then Axel was recording his Chinese democracy bullshit. Like, and he's like, "Hey, Shaq, come rap on this record for." Me." And I would love to hear that someday.
I hope it gets released.
I know. Release the Shaq rap. Oh, Shannon Sharpe.
Ooh.
What do you guys know about Shannon Sharpe?
I know he's in trouble.
Yeah, a little bit of hot water there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, steamy hot water. He is getting sued for sexual assault or some shit like that by a OnlyFans model named Gabrielle Zuniga, and he's fighting back. He is fighting back. He's showing some texts from her.
Mhm.
These are pretty good. One said, I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it
I
while you're
like that.
fucking me.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was from 2023. Another one from this year. I know you miss this big juicy ass.
Yeah.
25K for each cheek.
Yeah.
Another one, only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want. Then I can do whatever I want to me. I want to put my tongue in your asshole and then marry you.
I like that. That's a good
Okay.
one.
That's kind of not really marriage material.
Maddie,
is it?
speak for yourself. That is
Or is it,
definitely.
Maddie?
Never know. It depends the type of woman you're into. I don't know.
Did you say the daddy one?
No.
Because that was my favorite one.
Okay. Well, hold on. Where am I? Oh, that's my daddy fuck. I want you to put a big black baby in me. You better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. I'm sorry, but the way that's written makes it sound like she wants to be fucked with a baby.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Also,
These
like,
guys, they're all
she's like
talking.
really into like the whole pregnancy thing. She's like really into like,
Well, yeah, he's
yeah.
loaded. He was a professional athlete with a
I would
long
imagine they're going to
broadcasting career
settle
that
something out
got
of
huge
court.
the last couple of years. I want to get impregnated by him. So then I don't have to go to my job.
My other favorite one was the I want to stick my tongue in your asshole and marry you. That's great.
Right. I've tried to say that to women. They never married me.
It should work. I feel like that's the sign of true love.
I know.
Well, I would imagine they'll probably settle out of court. Probably will give her like 10 mil and it will all go away.
Of course, he's denying all this.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of something else.
I did not. I repeat, I did not sleep with that young intern. As a matter of fact, I was at Bo Nix.
Can't hear it.
That's very quiet. That's
I
an
heard
old
it.
Shawn Michaels clip.
Oh,
But,
sunny days are over.
No, he was talking about. Let me see if this one.
Seems like sunny days are over.
Not sleep with that young intern. As a matter of fact, I was at Bo Nix.
I know that clip very well. That was the
Yes,
heyday of
great sleep.
DX.
No, Shannon's actually saying he did fuck with her, but that's why he released the text to say it was an adult kinky relationship. This is not like the second thing that's happened since all the gay rumors started with him. Remember when that
He's
clip
been
came
canceled
out?
twice.
Yeah, like there was an Instagram live that somehow
Yeah.
accidentally went live when he was doing the deed with some lady, probably this lady. I don't know. Then he's like, now he's out there making announcements like, I will fight this, to the end. And there's also been rumors that he's already tried to settle with this woman. So who knows what the fuck's going on here.
I'm sure they'll settle this.
It sounds like a big shakedown.
This Tony
to me,
Busby
especially-
goes after everybody.
What's that?
Tony Busby's like the lawyer for all these
Oh
cases.
yeah. He's like, yeah, he was saying in this clip earlier that's like Tony just goes after black men, and later on I think he's going to release a 30-second clip that shows me in some bad stereotypical behavior, and then he's like, but the clip is really 10 minutes long and he should play the whole clip. It's like he's bragging about lasting 10 minutes or something. Like, I don't know.
I don't like Shannon Sharpe because he hated Tom Brady so much.
I respect that. Dude, I respect a good hater.
He was always one of those guys who's just like, I'm going to prove Tom Brady is overrated every fucking
Well, it was
week.
like, who wasn't doing that? Max Kellerman, was he doing that? Nick Wright was like, that's all he would.
Yeah, that's his whole deal.
Nick Wright is the same thing too.
They have to wait till the guy's like 46 till he actually falls off the cliff.
Yeah.
I love good haters.
Nick Wright is
a good hater too.
I think Shannon Sharpe is a good hater.
Nick Wright hates Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is a good level of hate.
He's never beat Patrick Mahomes, but he's still a fucking great quarterback with a shitty coach.
I don't know if you guys ever see Rob Parker.
Yeah, he's
He's
a
on Fox
huge
from time to
Brady
time.
hater.
He is actually the funniest hater because
He
he's just
calls
like,
Tom Brady the load, the
yeah,
luckiest of all time.
yeah. He's just, I don't know why. I just find him really hysterical
Yeah,
when he
he's just
gets,
like, there's no way Tom Brady's winning the championship. This was after his third Super Bowl.
yeah.
No way. No how.
Like a guy who just says endless shit
Yeah.
and sounds dumb while doing it, and then like sort of just shrugs his shoulders when anybody calls him
Oh
out
yeah.
on it. It's very funny. Um, so there's a weird trend going on right now. All these NCAA athletes that are out of eligibility are now transferring, putting their names in the transfer portal. Because this is the advice of their lawyer. Apparently, there is some litigation right now trying, these athletes trying to sue the NCAA for more eligibility. I think it's getting a
This is
little
awesome.
It's I mean, each one's case by case because I remember a couple what it's like they think their JUCO stuff shouldn't count. They
Yeah.
think like if they come up from FCS, it shouldn't. Like there's a whole bunch
Some
of
of these
different
people, I
things.
think one was a basketball player from Clemson or something. Like he's been there 4 years, 5 years even, all at Clemson. Like I don't know what they think is going to happen. But I really it's
They're
going to
just
be
trying to make as much money as possible right
yeah,
now. They're trying like because they're it's all guys who probably won't go pro,
right. Don't want to go
and
play in Europe or can't
yeah,
play in
and
Europe.
they're just gonna hold on and make as much money in college as possible. I mean, I don't blame the players.
I mean, you're right. You can't blame the players,
It's
but
a
it's
shitty
just
system.
there isn't much of a system.
They got to fix the transfer portal, man. They got to fix the transfer portal.
It is kind of funny how it's just like it's coming off the rails. Like they're gonna find the technicality that like NFL guys could like, hey, you're struggling. Like, hey, Kadarius Tony, you have 3 years eligible, and he goes to like Ohio State and he balls out or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's bizarre. I mean, I hope all this is just a blip, it's not going to be a norm.
I mean, like I think I brought him up last time, but Wisconsin had a player come transfer in from another school
Mhm.
and transferred out this last week. He transferred in on the first transfer portal, and now he transferred out for the spring portal.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
I mean, I here's what I don't quite understand the logistics of this shit, and I don't. At some point, you just have to sign a contract and honor it, or sit out a year and go somewhere else. Then, if you really don't feel you're gonna be good in that system or something.
I
Well,
think
this is bad for
everyone's
spring football, man. This is horrible for spring
no
football.
spring football is thriving right now, Maddie. I don't want to hear it. I so the rule that I've kind of like come across is like everyone gets one free transfer,
Yeah,
blanket, and then like you get one other one. You get like situational transfers. Like if your coach is fired or your coach leaves, you
right.
get a transfer then. Otherwise, if you're transferring after your free transfer's done, you got to sit out a year.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like, look, I get it. It's the pros. It's been the pros for a while, college football, but it needs far more structure than it has right now. One of the cool things about college football was like, you know what? You know what I like? Because I like that guy. He's playing for Michigan, and he's only going to play for Michigan. He's a Michigan guy for life. And then the transfer portal kind of opened up, and then you'd see like a lot of you know, grad student types of transfers or whatever, like big deal. And now it's just nonsense.
I,
Yeah.
the characters in college football, I feel like you get new ones every year for like the national media, but it's so much harder to have long term people stick around in your program.
Yeah, I eventually think they will just be signing contracts like everybody else in
I think once the schools,
professional sports or professional whatever. You sign a contract and you honor that
I think
contract.
once the schools pay it directly, I think 100%.
And that looks like it's about to happen too. There's a bunch of different laws and litigation happening right now that are going to change the avenues. for these players and for the schools to pay the players. So I think that's going to happen sooner than later.
Speaking of things that might happen, did you guys see? So ESPN and whatnot, we're talking about. I think the college football playoff committee. We're talking about some things. They had a little meeting, so they're trying to have figure out the different situation for the playoffs, and it looks like this is just part of an article. One possibility, which could be viewed as a compromise, is having conferences earn automatic bids through their play each season. A model in which each Power Four league can earn guaranteed spots through a combination of its team overall records and then dashes, and maybe even TV ratings, according to a source, could be presented. The highest ranked conferences would earn the most automatic bids.
Yeah.
So potentially, I think getting TV ratings in there is absolutely disgusting.
It's bizarre. I've never heard of any sport using that.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. How also it's like, look, I get that college sports are not amateur anymore, but how can you say it's amateur when you're judging things by ratings? That's insane.
Absolutely insane. How could you even call it a sport at that point?
Don't even do it for the pros.
Yeah.
It's like saying that fucking the greatest band of all time is Backstreet Boys or In Sync, or like Milli Vanilli's better than the Beatles because Milli Vanilli has a Grammy or
sold more records.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
I feel like if that's the case, it's not even really. It's more. It's like it's professional wrestling esque.
It is. I don't feel that'll happen. I think there'll be so much backlash.
There would be so much backlash.
It just
that makes no sense
at all.
What a weird thing, though. Jeez Louise, that's crazy to hear.
All right, guys, it's time to go.
I didn't like Maddie's like little chip at spring football. By the way,
no, I was just saying I wasn't knocking. I thought the action was good this week. I was saying because if guys can stay longer in college, they'll stay longer in college and play in the spring league. That's my point.
Oh, I see. I agree then. Yeah, we did say like we did. I did remember when they announced NIL. I was like, damn it. NIL is bad for like XFL, USFL, all that stuff, which they did bump up their salaries this year. They bumped it up.
Hurts the G League, like the G League in college basketball. Yep. It hurt, if college basketball guys can play longer, it's going to hurt the G League.
UFL salaries got bumped up, boys. They're paying over 70 now.
Good.
Oh, boy. Well, maybe I might go try out. All right, guys, let's do this.
Oh, yeah. I buy shoes for the girl to step on me.
Nice.
God, I love
talking
Tony
about
Atlas.
Tony Atlas. Too
what
much
a voice!
Too soon.
What a voice!
Sure does.
Tony Atlas. I talk like this.
I was going to mention it in the intro. The way he says Hercules is my favorite.
Kind of a cartoon character, like you Duke boys and whatever. I don't know what you're up to.
I love it so much.
Tony Atlas, Mr. USA, grew up in a rough part of Virginia. He fought every day. Didn't intend for that to rhyme, but it's cool it did. This was a nice dark side, even though there had its dark side moments. This was pretty dark. He was a big, tall kid when he was 12, and his dad would convince drunken railroad workers to fight him. And then if Tony lost, he'd tell his dad would tell him, "Hey, you win this fight, otherwise it's going to be worse when you get home," because dad was going to try to make a lot of money off of him winning. Jim, did your dad do that to you?
No, we never did fight. We did drinking competitions. Drinking contests.
You can't, like, did he challenge, like, take his buddies, like, if you can beat my son?
I was a good chugger.
Yeah. One day he was walking along and he was helping a lady with her school books or groceries or something, and somebody came up from behind and pushed him over, and it cracked open his skull. And he thinks he might have had brain damage from it, even though he never really admitted from it. And as you heard from that clip, he liked to buy women nice shoes and have them walk all over his face.
Yeah.
Matt, did you feel seen?
Did I feel seen?
Yeah. Aren't you into that?
No.
Oh. Hmm.
Like, my
I
question
know there
was
are
when
a
I
lot of
heard that,
women
like,
up.
was he talking about like high heels?
It wasn't high heels. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know.
He's like in the episode, he's like, I wasn't into high heel. Everybody said I was jerking off or sucking toes,
Uh,
but I was whacking off to it, but
of
I
course,
wasn't
it was
doing none
nothing
of that.
sexual, of course.
Yeah, it wasn't like he said it calmed him down.
So what are nice shoes then?
He seemed to like sneakery type, like nice women
Okay,
shoes.
sneakerhead.
Yeah. So that one was like funny. I thought they were like really setting on that for a while. I'm like, oh, are they going to do like a full episode about this fetish? It was pretty funny though. He's like, didn't understand what fetish was back then, and it was I was cracking up pretty hard at that. So this guy said after that accident, he's like, God, uh, give me the power of Samson, the strength of Hercules, and lots of money. And he got it all. He got into bodybuilding and powerlifting, kind of a rare combo. You don't normally see the two, it's one or the other. And he was a champion at both of them. He gets recruited into wrestling. And the best part was he didn't know it was predetermined. He said that was the most disappointing day of his life when they told him it wasn't real. Do you guys remember when somebody told you that wrestling wasn't
Yeah,
real?
my mom, my dad.
I think a friend told it to me and we
He made me
argued
watch
about
that
it.
dumb 2020 where Dr. D
Oh
smacked that
yeah.
guy. I saw it the day after it happened. My parents taped it on a VCR, forced me to watch it to ruin my childhood, to prove that wrestling was fake.
I don't know. He beat the shit out of
Broke my
John
heart.
Stossel. That wouldn't have convinced me.
Yeah, that
Well,
would
when
be
I
the
saw
thing.
the Eddie guy, Hot Rod Eddie, whatever the fuck his name was,
Uh,
sold out the business.
oh, right.
Pissed
Scumbag.
off, pissed off Jim Cornette. You never piss off Jim.
Nah.
By the way, I was listening to their stuff today. We got to cover this. There's a great documentary that came out about WrestleMania 9,
Mm-hmm.
which was in Vegas at Caesar's Palace. And it was the worst like WrestleMania ever. It was where like they had camels and they tried to get people to wear
Yeah.
togas. It's supposed to be hysterically amazing of how bad it's like Herb Abrams meets WWF.
Where
I
can
gotta
we
find it.
find this?
I don't know. I was listening to Cornette and his partner were talking about it, and we're saying like how legendary, like it's great.
Let me see if that's around. Becoming a Spectacle. Oh, it's on Peacock too. I have that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you have
uh,
it?
I have Peacock. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch that tonight.
Yeah. We'll definitely cover that amy when we're done with the season of Dark Side. Uh, back to Mr. Tony Atlas though. So he was of course he's an older guy. He had to deal with a lot of racism in the Southern Territories. Apparently, like the Southern Territories would only like keep one black guy per territory.
Mm-hmm.
He made a lot of money and he spent it all. He would get into a car accident, break his neck because they were partying, and he just didn't even think twice, would keep partying. Signed to WWE, blows up, forms a tag team with the Rock's dad, Rocky Johnson. They become the first black tag team champions.
Yep, WWF.
But this was not a harmonious relationship as Rocky was older and then very jealous because Rocky had been, paying his dues for a long time in there. And Tony just came in and then they won right away. And he was a little upset with having to share that spotlight. This part of the story was pretty hysterical. So apparently, I forget the guy's name, but there was one wrestler that was openly in the Ku Klux Klan back in the day,
I can believe it.
and he was
I believe
passing
it.
out flyers. Like Tony said that this guy's would have his bag with his Klan shit right in the locker room, like you could see his sheets and all that. And then so one day the guy's going around, he's passing out flyers to everyone. He's like, hey, Tony, there's some guys that would like to meet you. Come on out to this. And he didn't really read it. He didn't know quite what it was saying. He just was able to find where it was or something. And as he's showing up, his buddy can kind of see what's going on up there. He's like, give me that flyer. Let me see. He's like, holy fuck. He's like, get the fuck down. And then they like, there they were all in their clan outfits, like with shotguns, and they had
Crazy.
to whip a Yui out. But it's like, then when he went to the locker room the next day, all the guys were just laughing. Like this was like normal, just hijinks back in the day. I mean,
Thank God.
you have
times are better.
microaggressions nowadays. Back then, dudes were getting tricked into going to Klan rallies. Like, holy shit. Very fucked up. Of course, this is where he starts spiraling with the reckless behavior. He was not a happy guy. He seemed to have it all, but was not happy.
No.
And then he had a pivotal match where basically this was going to be the match before he goes to wrestle for the championship, and they were going to make him the first black, heavyweight champion. And he skips the match to go get walked on.
He loves those high heels, man.
You know
It's not
what?
the high heels, Matt. He stopped saying that.
Sneakers.
Sneakers.
Calms him down. It's the sneakers. Walk on his face.
When a man like needs to get walked on, he needs to get walked on.
Yeah.
It is weird. I don't think I have anything
Isn't that wild? He could have been the first.
that strong of a compulsion of some type of fetish, but I've known
Imagine
fetish
you could have
people
been the first something like groundbreaking, and they're like, "Why didn't it happen?" You're like,
Yeah.
"Well, I wanted to get walked on by a woman."
So was it
Instead.
racism? No, I wanted to get walked on by a woman.
That's awesome.
That's it.
That is awesome.
It's
I
pretty
love
sick.
that.
What if Jackie Robinson, who we honored last week with Jackie Robinson Day, Branch Ricky's like, come on, this is going to be your big day. This is going to be the one. Jackie's like, no.
Sorry, I had to.
No. I just got my girl these new shoes. I just want to relax today. Okay. This is my thing. All right. Maybe
I need to do this.
Yes. Branch Ricky, you don't understand. I need to get walked on. So, of course, Vince fires him after that because you just can't keep somebody around for that. And he doesn't really have anywhere to go. He gets duped to going to this small promotion in Maine, but then that's when Vince started to eat up all the territories. So Vince would just go book shows whenever they were having shows and beat them outright until they collapsed. He ends up homeless, sleeping on a park bench for a long time until a woman who kept coming by finally invited him to go stay with her. And he was able to get back in the gym and sort of turn his life around. And he married her. That's his Monica.
How many times do you think she walks on him?
Every night.
Every night. Well, she's got a stroke now, so maybe I wonder if he'll accept a wheelchair.
No, do you think she like wheels up to him and just like places her feet like on his face?
You also got to say rest in peace to the great Nick Cage's wife who died, who was a superstar on Dark Side of the Ring.
What did she die of?
Who knows? Probably drugs. Like you saw how bad she looked.
Fair, yeah.
Nick Cage.
She was a flight.
She
was a pilot.
I got to rewatch that with her. Yeah,
that one was hard to watch. As a matter of fact, my great James E. Cornette refused to watch that one because he said that's not wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, he's right, but still, it's fun for us.
Yes.
So
a bunch of guys jumping on glass in the middle of the woods. Not exactly Ric Flair versus Sting at the Sportatorium. Or Jerry the King Lawler versus,
Yeah. It's Nick Cage is.
Did I tell you last week that Hogan said that he didn't think Andy Kaufman was funny?
I think he said that.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Well, Hogan, I mean, he's probably focusing on his gig with Metallica back then and wasn't really paying attention the way he should have been. So he turns his life around, and Vince gives him another contract. Oh, great. Tony Atlas is back. But wait, no. Vince makes him be Samba Simba, which is like this freaking African tribal caricature. Something you'd see like, I don't know. It was so bad.
That was
He's like
classic Vince.
dancing. He's got like a spear and a shield and feathery outfit thing. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And Roddy Piper's just like, that's not Samba Simba, that's Tony Atlas.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do after somebody like calls that? Like, Tony Atlas was a big star. It was different, like when you had like these people like One Man Gang and stuff, and they would all be
Kamala
different.
was always Kamala,
Yeah.
even though that was the most racist character you'll ever see.
Even more than Samba Simba.
Oh, you ever see Kamala, the Ugandan giant? They basically put him out there with a guy that like whips him. And he's from the deepest, darkest continent of Africa. And he doesn't know anything.
Yeah. Basically, okay. Yeah. Samba Simba was like the warrior. Kamala was like the witch doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So, to give you some perspective. We had so he comes out, and that just didn't last because that was one of the like everybody on this was just bashing.
They never
this
last
character.
on their second time with Vince.
No, because he's trying to do like Vince just sometimes has stupid ideas for characters. We had so then he bounces around to a few more organizations and doesn't really catch on. Then in 2006, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. That kind of brought him back into the fold. And then they had him managing Mark Henry. I always liked Mark Henry too.
And that was nice. That was perfect.
Yeah.
That worked out really well.
Yeah.
And Mark Henry was just like the sweetest guy. He's just like, he had so much
He's very
admiration
loved.
for
Yeah.
Tony Atlas. And,
Yeah.
and like, it was like really nice. It was like being surrounded by like your hero when you're coming
Absolutely.
up. And then like, of course, after Vince says to him how great he is, the very next day he gets fired. And his wife has since had a stroke, and he's 66 and he still wrestles to this day.
That's awesome.
He's like, I gotta pay the bills.
I bet you he's doing that DDP yoga.
Yeah. I mean, he looks good for 66. Don't get me wrong.
He does.
But and then he just goes and takes care of his wife when he's not training or wrestling.
That's great.
It's insane. He's like, you know what, man? I had everything and I wasn't happy. I have nothing now, and I'm so happy and happy to be
I don't know
alive.
if you could be happy though, even though he had everything. It's like I've been watching the Celtics thing, and you see like how Bill Russell, like one would think he had everything, but he still dealt with so much racism and pressure. And
Yeah,
anytime you say anything, people just resent you, and
sure.
it's not like it seems on paper you're living this glorious life, but there's so many people that want to see you fail and hate you for your skin color, and it's got to be very confusing. So it's very understandable how he wasn't happy and how he struggled, even when on paper it would assume
Yeah.
he was like, way ahead of his time and everything.
Well, it's just like, money and fame can just cover up those, you get access to things like drugs and women and all that.
Yep.
And that stuff is just, it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Very temporarily, and the more you go chasing that dragon, the worse it gets. So it sounds like he was able to deal with his internal demons, and then society got a little better too in the time since he was young. So it was a nice, happy ending. As Maddie said, he is alive and he is thriving. Yeah.
and he's happy.
Yeah, he's happy. That's
He
it.
came out the other side.
Very peaceful ending, like a very nice, relaxed ending.
Yeah, and he's just
Living a
like,
good
it's
life.
wholesome. He just takes care of his wife, who struggles with the post stroke and whatnot. So it was like it was good, a little heartwarming one here. All right, dudes, anything to add before we get out of here?
No, just we'll see how these playoffs.
Oh, we got the
By
NFL
next
draft
Tuesday,
too.
there
NFL
should be
draft
another
coming up,
team out,
boys.
man.
When is
Cam-
that?
Yeah, the draft. We
Thursday?
didn't even talk
Yeah,
about
Thursday.
it.
Cam
Oh,
Ward,
yeah.
probably.
This year, the
Jim, I wanted
draft
to
is-
ask you this Tyler Shuck guy he's like the guy they talk
From
about
Louisville,
now.
right?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's older than Bo Nix.
I
heard he had a
know.
terrible
He was a
combine.
backup for Bo Nix at one point.
When
I
there's not a
know.
lot of quarterbacks, people don't really get into
The only like there's Cam Ward, and then people kind of rank like Shadur Sanders and Jackson Dart as like the next two guys, and then it's a drop off from there.
I heard that Cam's going to Nashville. We'll see where Travis Hunter goes. It looks like the Penn State guy, Carter, will go really high. I really love their tight end, Warren. I think he's going to be a
Tyler
great
Ward. Tyler Warren's
NFL
so
player.
good.
But when there's not a lot of quarterbacks, people don't get into the draft as much. Like
That other tight end from Bowling Green, he's a stud. I forget the guy's name.
Well, a quarterback is seen as a franchise changer. Everybody else is sort of a piece.
Harold
of pie.
Fannin.
It's funny, and you're just waiting for the Eagles to get some sort of somebody looked over and just will become an all-star.
It's a pretty good running back draft too.
Yeah, it is. It's good. Ashton Gente.
I'm not
of
a
course.
fan of running backs. Even the Gente, like I just don't think running backs move the table that much. They don't result in wins, in my opinion.
Well, no, but they're still like fun.
They're fun.
Like,
but
they're fun, Matty.
They don't value win. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can. When's the last running back that like, wow, this guy turned the team around completely?
No, it's running back is like the piece you get when you're already set.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can get a guy in the second or third round. I mean, there's guys like Bijan Robinson that are really good, but like what wins? They're gonna win by what Penix does or what. Well, Cousins won't be there anymore, but
It's
like
the offense, it's the quarterback, and then
Exactly.
it's offensive line, and then running back is fine.
But I think Travis Hunter will be a big. I hope the Patriots get him. It should be a fun draft, but the hype is not as much when there's not like 4 or 5 big time quarterbacks. There's really only one quarterback, Cam Ward. It seems like people really are like, okay, he is a franchise guy.
I don't get that. I mean, maybe because Bo Nix had a great year. Cam Ward to me is like a less polished Bo Nix.
But I like him. But I'm just saying it's not a very.
That's saying
high-
something.
Yeah. I mean, 3 years ago we have 5 quarterbacks in like the top 20, and this year we'll have probably 1 or 2, maybe.
Next year's might be an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Everybody,
Well,
I saw Gruden's got quarterback camp now on YouTube.
all right.
And I watched the Quinn Ewers one. Guys, Quinn Ewers a dumbass.
Ah,
I watched the draft to see who I think will end up in the UFL sooner than later.
Well, there you go.
oh wow. Any predictions?
I'm hoping Will Howard.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Will Howard.
He sounds like a perfect candidate.
He's
for the
supposed to
NFL.
get drafted.
I've been rooting for Will
think
Howard
he'll
since
get
his
drafted.
K-State
He should
days.
get drafted.
He will, but like maybe 5 years when the UFL's still around, we'll get some Will Howard to the
Will
to the
Howard
Battlehawks.
would be in a perfect position to go in and be a backup and be a lifelong backup somewhere.
My other dream one, which is not going to happen unless he like flames out early, was Kyle McCord.
I heard he's
yeah.
gonna have a he's got a good draft status going.
Just because obviously like Ohio State quarterback usually doesn't work out in the pros. Come on, baby. I get it, Syracuse. I get that, but like, come on. I want Kyle McCord on like the Brahmas or something.
Ooh, that'd be great if they get Will Howard on one team and Kyle McCord on the other.
See, think of the storylines.
By the way, I know the NFL's a long way away, but I'm gonna put a big future bet on the Vikings Super Bowl. I have a feeling JJ McCarthy's gonna be a great player. I just have a weird feeling.
Are we still counting him as a rookie since he didn't play a single game?
You're still
Probably
a rookie.
not,
I mean,
but-
I know it's like that in basketball, unless you
Yeah.
play a regular season game.
Because has any rookie ever like won a Super Bowl?
Oh, Tom Brady is second year, but no. I mean, Jaden Daniels got close last year.
But Brady wasn't playing that first year, though.
No, but he was second year.
Yeah. Okay.
And Mahomes third year. Mahomes would have won if they beat the Patriots. I think they would have won the Super Bowl that year.
That still was the second year though.
Yeah, it was the second year.
Yeah, that was nuts.
But no rookie I can think of even made it to the Super Bowl.
All right. I got to get
All
out
right,
of
boys.
here.
Be
Later,
well.
boys.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week post draft. We'll have NBA playoffs, hockey playoffs, all the news that's fit to print. We'll see you guys next week for another exciting edition of the Sports Hole.
Sports Hole.
Bye.